Hey guys, Tbull here. Today I got a new series we'll be kicking off. Top ships of each class at each tier. And we're going to be doing the Tech Tree edition. So we're going to be looking at destroyers in this first edition of the series. And we'll be breaking down each tier. Which one do I think is the strongest Tech Tree ship at each tier? That way everyone who's watching, you for sure can get these ships. You can research all of them. And they're available for everyone. So these will be my personal opinions. There's of course going to be disagreement. These are subjective, might favor my play style, but maybe not yours. So you guys let me know. Maybe I'm dropping the ball, or maybe just disagree. What do you guys think I'm getting wrong when it comes to this list? Let me know in the comments. But I think these are pretty strong ships across the board. And if you go, might give you something to target if you're still unlocking the ships, or if you got them all unlocked. These will be kind of my picks. Tier 3, I'll be honest with you, I don't use a lot of Tier 3 destroyers ever, but as you can see with the background, we got the Isokaze. Japanese Tier 3 torpedo boat extraordinaire. Now, it's kind of a good introduction to the line. You got low health, you got slow reloading guns, good concealment, but the torpedoes, the torpedoes, of course, are the highlight, but they're kind of balanced for new players, I think. Basically, you got 37-second reload on these things, so I think the idea is they're assuming most people playing the Isokaze are going to be brand new players, probably missing a lot of torpedoes, and that's the balancing factor. But if you're pretty good at launching the torpedoes and you get them up every 37 seconds, you can just smash through the enemy team. So I don't typically like to take this out unless I really got a grudge with the world that I got to settle or something, but it's pretty easy to run up the score. So Isokaze, I feel like the Clemson's probably pretty good as well. I just don't really play those Tier 3s as much. The Clemson's got good guns, but as we'll see with the next tier, I got the American destroyers coming up. So my pick, top tier 3 destroyer would be Isokaze. And like I kind of alluded to, the Farragut, the king of Tier 4, pretty much undisputed. There's a few ships that you can say pound for pound are some of the best in the game. Meaning, compared to the ships that they're playing at, in their tier, they're kind of head and shoulders above. Farragut is one of those, in my opinion. Kind of one of the apex predator ships in the game. Any other tier 4 destroyer that gets into a close quarter fight with the Farragut, you're going to be in trouble. The guns will shred you. So it's got really strong capabilities of doing the capture control, the bases, the counter destroyer play. That's just kind of what it excels at. And like most American destroyers, it tends to be true, but the Farragut really shines. If you ever got to play missions, if you got Citadel missions, Farragut's a great choice. You got fast reloading guns with good AP, and you can get in close to a lot of Tier 4 cruisers, which are going to be often sailing broadside. So you can shred those with the Farragut. You can get dozens of Citadels potentially per match, depending on the matchmaking that you wind up with. Torpedo-wise, we only have 5.5-kilometer torps on these things, but that's pretty indicative of how the low to mid tier American destroyers play. Anyways, we're not really relying on those. Occasionally, you'll get off like a good ambush strike around an island or something, or if someone's rushing you, you can use them defensively. But in general, when you're playing the American destroyer as well, you're really focused on the guns. Torpedoes, much more secondary in this case. So Farragut, it's one of those ships where the only trouble you can really have is if you're running into Tier 5s that have the smoke sonar combo, like the Germans or the British. I don't think any of the Tier 4s have that combo. So you're not as threatened by that. But occasionally, if you get caught with something like that, you can get into trouble. Otherwise, other destroyers should be afraid of you. So Farragut, very strong pick at Tier 4. Tier 5, T-61 would be the best destroyer at Tier 5 in my opinion. That's a premium though. Sister ship, the Gaede, Tier 5 German destroyer, also very strong. Now the torp reload's a little bit longer. It's a 90-second torpedo reload on that one. But the guns, we got 150 millimeter guns, 12% fire chance on those puppies. So really solid guns, slowish reloading torpedoes, but not bad. We got 69 knots in the water, 7.25 detection, reaction time, sorry. A little bit lighter on the damage side of things, but overall it's pretty strong, and it has a really nice smoke sonar combo. So again, it you can use Bay if you want to do that. That's another plus for Farragut in terms of counter destroyer play. You got Halsey with the twist and track, Bay on the Gaede. Again, the ship does counter destroyer really well. If you get into engagements with them, you can drop the smoke, pop the sonar. They're not going to be able to spot you. You can spot them and blow them up that way. So anytime a destroyer kind of is top dog at the tier for fighting other destroyers, that's a lot of points in that favor. And I would give that slot to Gaede, at least out of the tech tree ships. Concealment wise, pretty good as well. I think it's one of the better ships at my tier aside from the Fubuki. So that combination of skills and that combination of consumables, I think, makes the Gaede the top pick at tier 5. Tier 6, this one, I almost went Benson. I think the Benson's pretty strong, but I think the Akatsuki still, even though they've tried to nerf it once or twice, has to be considered the top dog at tier 6. A well-played Akatsuki that kind of still focuses on core destroyer functions of spotting, counter destroyer, capping, but also gets the torpedoes in play. That's a tough thing to deal with. We got outstanding concealment, best at the tier, torpedo reload, 66.9 seconds on mine. So basically every minute we're spitting them out. We got 3 launchers, 10-kilometer torps, long reaction time, 9.32 seconds on my build, of course, but very, very dangerous. And the torpedoes can be non-stop when you're going against this ship. So by the time you dodge them, you gotta already expect another salvo coming right behind it. So Akatsuki can be very frustrating to play against when played well. It can get bogged down. You can, a lot of times the Akatsukis you see out there, and the Japanese destroyers in general, if they're just too focused on torpedoing, battleships are kind of out of position, that can take them out of the game, and that can be a detriment to the team. But like I say, if you're really focusing on performing the role and kind of dealing the torpedo damage as you're doing that, that's when this ship's tough to deal with. Guns, long reload, but the HE hits hard, so don't sleep on it. A well-played Japanese destroyer, you're not going to rely on the guns like you would, say, a Benson or an American destroyer, but you don't want to never fire the guns either, because you can hit them with these fairly hard hitting guns. It's just really slow reload, so if you're relying on the guns a lot, trying to get into close quarter dogfights with other destroyers, you're probably going to get shredded quite a bit doing that. But everything combined, the concealment, the outstanding torpedo threat, one of the best torpedo threats in the game, certainly at tier 6, and the serviceable guns, this makes the Akatsuki really tough to deal with. Tier 7, destroyer. Well, you can see my pick. I ended up going with the Lightning. Tier 7 destroyers, you can conceivably say you like Fletcher, Kagero, Akatsuki, Lightning, Z-23, Fantask, or Tashkent. I won't laugh at any of those picks for whatever you happen to think is the best. I think the Lightning's versatility kind of gives it the edge. You got this outstanding smoke, situation going on where you got 6 charges, only lasts for a minute, but you can kind of, as long as you're playing close to your team and they're giving you good enough spotting, you can constantly be dropping the smoke, plopping down, firing your guns for a minute, starting some fires, using the good HE that we got on the UK destroyers, exemplified kind of by the top of the line, the Lightning. Good offensive capabilities with the guns. Good offensive capabilities with the torpedoes too, and it kind of mitigates the main problem I have with the UK line in general. Really egregiously long torpedo reload. Like my Jervis build, I got 120 seconds. Yeah, you can bring that down with tier wit, but it's still going to be pretty long compared to the rest of the pack. This build though, on the Lightning, 81 seconds, 81.6, which is much. It's still not, short, but it's more middle of the pack. So serviceable torpedoes. You do have the single launch option, which is nice. That gives you even more versatility. Combined with the gunplay, with the smoke play, all around pretty good ship. I've really never heard anyone who gets the Lightning, plays it for a little bit, figures out how to play it, and then says they don't like it. It's usually one of the more favored destroyers at the tier. I almost went Akatsuki, the new Japanese gunboat. I think that's more fun for me to play, maybe because it's a little bit newer, I don't know, but I think that's a really strong ship. The Lightning just does a little bit better. The Akatzuki is such a clumsy little goof that you can get in trouble by getting hit by torpedoes or other oddball situations that the Lightning wouldn't have as much trouble with. And of course, you got the sonar, so you can play the smoke sonar combo. Not going to be effective against the Z-23. That sonar is going to pummel you. You got much better range than that. But the other ships, you can deal with them pretty well. Fletcher, really strong. I mean, Kagero's a good ship as well. It just kind of gets outshined by the Adachi a little bit. Z-23, a little bit more flexibility. Now, the main knock on the Lightning is we don't have the twist and track, and that's another plus for Z-23, assuming you run in Bay, which I know not everybody does. But counter destroyer wise, maybe the edge goes slightly to Z-23, but as long as you're playing it carefully, you know, you can get away with not having the twist and track. Fantasque, the French destroyer, you know, very good guns, you know, gun and torpedo threat, frankly. Offensively very strong, but the lack of the smoke ups the difficulty and kind of limits your effectiveness in certain situations. Lightning, just more versatile, more tools to deal with the enemy. Tashkent, kind of a sleeper pick. A lot of people don't really like to grind through the entire Russian destroyer line because it's pretty tough to play. But if you can get to the Tashkent, that's a very strong ship as well. You got 3 launches on that, quick reloading, just shy of a minute on the torpedoes there. Hard hitting gun threat. I don't set it up for concealment, so it changes the play style a little bit, but you can have a lot of success with the Tashkent as well. So, really, like I said, all the tier 7 destroyers, pretty solid. I just think the Lightning, the versatility, and, you know, the kind of utility for it gives it the edge. So, that's it for my picks, guys. I'm not going to go over the legendary tier just because at the time we're making these, there's just a couple of ships at each class that have been released, so it's really not worth breaking that down. But we'll go over those more in the future once the legendary tier is more fleshed out. But like I said earlier, I want to hear what you guys think. Let me know if you think I'm missing the pick on one of them or maybe all of them. You know, let me know what you guys think your top picks are for these destroyers. Maybe I'm missing something obvious. Anyway, that'll do it for that one. Hopefully you did enjoy it. If you did, please hit the thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. Lots of World of Warships coming all the time. Questions? Comments? Leave them below. Love to hear from you guys. And see y'all later. Peace.